Stephen.
What are you?
You sure you want to know?
Most of the time, introducing a new central character to the MCU involves an origin story, but Moon Knight, to its credit, plays things differently. It gives us more or less the end of a costumed hero's story, picking things up in Act 3 and then filling in the gaps for us as the story progresses. Anchored by a fierce and moving performance by Oscar Isaac, this mind-bending saga, which also juggles a few mystery elements, stands out in all the best ways from perhaps some of the more cut-and-paste aspects of the MCU.
The suit.
This is mental.
The power.
Am I like some sort of secret agent?
It's a little more complicated than that.
For one, it doesn't concern itself much with the MCU. This might be a boon for some and a curse for others. Sadly, if Moon Knight is forever destined to remain detached from the larger universe, then this show is hogging a lot of wondrous magic pertaining to Egyptian mythology and lore about deities in the afterlife. With this unique and rarely explored supernatural backdrop also comes some extraordinary special effects. But Isaac carries the bulk of Moon Knight with his remarkable portrayal of two minds inhabiting one body. The series is designed to hit you with a barrage of questions right out of the gate as his bumbling Stephen Grant deals with what he believes to be a sleepwalking condition. As the stakes rise, Isaac is always real and truthful to every moment, running the full gamut of emotions and action. Not only is this an exploration of what it might be like to be a superhero with dissociative identity disorder, but also if you were handpicked by an opportunistic cosmic being because of said disorder with the intention of manipulation. It's here that Isaac's Marc Spector, the mercenary who agreed to Egyptian god Khonshu's terms and conditions, exhibits aspects of David Haller from the Marvel Comics. Because Isaac is so good, it doesn't even matter that Moon Knight, in full costume battling bad guys, is the least interesting part of it all. As far as the rest of the small cast goes, May Kalamawi's Layla at first feels undercooked and underserved. By the time the tale transports itself to Cairo, though, she's able to grow into a much more complex and complete character as a crafty Indiana Jones-type hero. As one hero's journey seemingly comes to an end, another's begins. Layla rarely finds herself in the usual traps of sidekicks or love interests, though the finale still has rushed elements, as most Marvel finales do, in their attempt to sew up every snag while also ramping up the CGI-driven action. And as for Ethan Hawke, the movie star got to revel in the quiet intensity he's honed over decades on screen, giving Arthur Harrow a humbleness and a true purpose. Hawke was instrumental in helping craft the character of Harrow, who, as a name, just appeared in the Moon Knight comics briefly. He's such a quiet storm that when he does act out, in large supernatural ways, particularly in the finale, it makes a much bigger impact. Likewise, that whispery earnestness is a good counterbalance for Isaac's Stephen Grant, who's often in a state of mental shambles. With nearly 15 years under its belt, the MCU has found itself in a spot where you really have to do something special to grab fans with an action sequence. They didn't crack the code here on that baseline level, as Moon Knight himself isn't particularly thrilling to watch, but it does provide a little something deeper. Mark's recent mental split gives this Moon Knight a bit more looniness. By the end, in a finale that still engages in a few super short cuts, Moon Knight's final bow is a wonderful culmination of character work, which very much helps the action stand out as something entertaining rather than mundane.
I can't tell the difference between my waking life and dreams.
Moon Knight stumbles out of the gate with an utterly confused, inept character, but then nicely builds into a many-layered affair involving mental illness, delusion, deception, and supernatural power plays for the souls of humanity. Star Oscar Isaac delivers the goods as a tired man with a splintered mind trying to dig himself out of a horrible hole. He's the confident centerpiece here, but he's also not alone in his excellence. However, whatever flaws you might find in the Moon Knight design are largely countered by Isaac's dual performance and his ability to find poignancy and purity amidst a sea of CGI and wild ideas. For more on the MCU, check out our review of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and for everything else, keep it right here on IGN.
There's chaos in you. Embrace it.